Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to celebrate 20 years of High School Musical, and with that, I am going to give my life story of the time in 2006 when High School Musical premiered.
You're listening to the Media Man Dan Podcast, promoting people with passion all over the globe. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock!
Welcome to the Media Man Dan Podcast. This is an extremely special episode as I celebrate 20 years of the musical that changed my life. Now, most of you guys are going to be like, are you serious, Dan? You're going to talk about High School Musical, the giant, just slop of Grease? Yes, I will. And I will tell you, I like High School Musical more than Grease. As a theater fan, as someone involved in musical theater, especially in High School Musical really ignited something in me. And that was the ability to sing in front of people. I was so shy as a kid. Every single thing that I did was judged, mocked, ridiculed. No matter what I did, I wanted to fit in. That was the main objective throughout elementary school, middle school, and then finally in high school, I had my moment. One of the most amazing experiences and total shit. If you guys wanted to watch it, it's by Darteen1, Darteen 1, the number 1. You can find Bet on Dan. There are 2 videos, and it is cringe to me, but I needed that. It helped me get out of my shell. It helped me go through so much of the trauma that I was facing, especially back in 2006, 20 years ago. Today, just so many things have changed in that time, and so I'd like to discuss High School Musical and what it means to me. High School Musical was a brand new idea that Disney Channel had. I was watching, I think, Suite Life of Zack and Cody or something of that sort, and it came up as a commercial. Like, there's this new Disney Channel original movie, and this one has singing in it. And I'm just like, ooh, singing, I like that. I like Aladdin, I like Beauty and the Beast, I like all of the classics, But it changed everything. It was like cut and paste, the greatest thing you could ever imagine for Disney. Not only did it make them a shitload of money, but it also was a super successful feeling that they were able to capture for all of us fans of the franchise and for future franchises such as Descendants, Zombies, and I think that there's another one, a High School Musical, the series. Yes, unfortunately, that Glee spinoff. But I gotta say, High School Musical, the first one, was so important. We had Suite Life of Zack and Cody. I think Jesse McCartney came out the year before or that year and had Beautiful Soul on the radio. We also had High School Musical cast members show up after the first movie to promote it. This movie was always something that meant so much more to me than a lot of other people. When I was a kid, I was bullied a lot. I didn't fit in. It was a traumatic period. There's a lot of things going on in my personal life. Even though I was a kid, there's a lot of things going on. And while that was happening, I needed a perfect distraction from it. And I loved Power Rangers, and Power Rangers was killing it, no doubt. I think that was Mystic Force that season. And it was just fun, but it wasn't enough to give me the full distraction that I needed from the trauma that I was facing at that time. High School Musical not only helped me see through the shit that I was dealing with, but it also gave me a voice that I never knew I had. I always sang in choir. I've always been the kid in the background that has a really solid voice that nobody would actually turn to look at. They would just be like, hey, that sounds good. So when I was finally giving myself a chance to perform in front of classmates, to perform in front of girls, which were really hard to talk to, I could not keep eye contact with anybody, especially if I liked them or liked to like them. It was a whole different thing. And so I sang Breakin' Free for so many people because of High School Musical. I gained so much fame, I guess you could say. You're a kid, whatever, but like kids actually cared about what I was doing. They actually focused on me, and they didn't make me feel like I was the outcast anymore. Everyone knew me as the singer. And, unfortunately, they would use that and request happy birthday or anything else that they wanted to be sung to them. But for me, it was just like breaking out of my shell and showing everybody that I had some special talent to share with everyone that I had been hiding or that they didn't have any interest in until that moment. And so High School Musical got me to that level of performing in front of people, of being a little bit more outgoing, trying to break out of the mold that I had been stuck in for 7 whole years, from preschool all the way to 6th grade. It was preparing me for middle school. Going into your preteens is a huge transition. Same with when you go into high school. And I needed something that would really boost me up and give me confidence. And High School Musical was that for me. That's why I constantly have it over my shoulder. That's why I always talk about it whenever people ask me about my musical past. I try to go into as much depth as I can without sounding like a super freak, but I've seen the movie nearly 100 times. I watched it again today just because I love criticizing movies and I love going back and analyzing things that I didn't notice, like color arrangements of what the characters are wearing and things of that sort. But I just felt so good watching it. Every single time I feel good watching it. It is one of the most feel-good experiences you get from old school Disney, and I hope to God that they can capture that magic again. I felt that magic on the Zombies 4 movie and the Zombies 1 movie. However, High School Musical isn't perfect by any means. But because of the nostalgia, because of the time that I really needed that to be there, I always see it as exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what was made for me. That's how I felt as a kid. That's still how I feel as an adult. The way I can talk to you guys, the way I can form my words, the way that I don't trip over myself, it's all because of High School Musical. It's all thanks to Disney at that period of time, giving me so much great distraction from shit that was going on. It just helped me escape. And it was the ultimate saving grace of that year, 2006. 2006 changed everything. I was wearing glasses in 2003, and then I finished wearing glasses by a miracle. I got 20/20 vision in 2004 or 2005. My name had changed to Dan, I think, in 2005. And so then I decided that I wouldn't be Daniel anymore, and then I would go to Dan. After Dan, I still got picked on because kids are dicks, and that's what happens. And so they would come up with creative names. And no matter what, I would never be able to be in the in crowd. You know, I'm always stuck out like a sore thumb. Like, oh, that's that weirdo, because I had ADHD and nobody knew what that was. And even if they did know what that was, they didn't really care. They thought that was an excuse or something. For me, I needed this one shot to prove to everybody that I had something there that they could be like wowed by. And that's what it gave me. I said it multiple times. The confidence built up, but the way that people started talking about me as a kid, it was huge. Like, you have no idea what it's like in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was not PC by any means, and these kids were brutal, and the insults that were thrown my way are very, harsh, especially for today's standards. But you dealt with it. You would be like, this is the way it is, and you would just try to make the most of what you had. And that's what I did. And there was a new friend that came in that year. His name was Brad. Still a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to in a long time. I cherish the friendship. I just haven't had time to reach out. He's got his life going on, his wife and kids and everything. But like, he gave me a chance to prove myself to the group that thought he was cool, because he was the new kid in class, but he was the badass kid. He was the one that didn't follow all the rules. He was the one that skateboarded and stuff. And his dad was cool, and everyone had tattoos and stuff. And I was, Daniel. Or Dan at that point. And so he saw me getting picked on by them. They're always like, I don't care about that guy. That guy sucks. And he's like, wait, hold on. Let's give this guy a shot. And I think he heard me sing in front of some girls, or saw me sing. And he was like, you guys got to stop picking on this guy. He's got something. Like, he's cool. He's cool. And so, like, everybody, for the first time, laid off. Even though this, final year of elementary school wasn't so great, I do appreciate that the bullying did end. And I was able to finally have somebody on my side, a friend of mine, to stand in my corner and say, you know what, stop fucking with Dan. It was so great. It was literally like God had his hands on my shoulders And he was giving me High School Musical. He was giving me a friend who happened to be close by to me. And there was just so much that changed because of that experience. Now, 20 years ago, I was under the impression that I was going to be like a superstar, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I can sing in front of people. There's nothing stopping me. It was the moment I realized I don't have stage fright. So I was like, this is going to be my success story. I'm going to become a singer. All of this time being bullied, it's all worth it because I'm going to be something and I'm going to prove to everyone that they have to care about me. And unfortunately, like I said, my talent show day in 8th grade wasn't perfect. I liked it, but I definitely can say rewatching it is cringe. My high school days were great. I was involved in all the musicals. I got to see the behind the scenes. I got to be on stage. I got to be understudies. And I got to go for roles that I never thought I would go for. It gave me this whole open world idea. And then I eventually wanted to move into music, but something happened because trauma always hits and moved me into hip hop, which made me really disrespect a lot of what I had, that joy and that purity that I was living on from High School Musical time. It was all broken down and torn apart because of a relationship. And so I needed to vent myself out of that with rap music, writing extremely harsh things, but it really got me to the level of like appreciation of where I had come from and where I was moving next. And I wanted to be a music producer, and I'm glad I'm not a music producer because I wouldn't be running this podcast. I wouldn't be having conversations with awesome people and hearing their stories and being able to talk to people and having them hear my story and give me a shot as well. I would never have had the moments of greatness that I have. I would have never been with my fiance. I would have never found her probably because I would have been so dead set on one specific goal to be a music producer and not let anything hold me back from that. And I'm just so happy that I didn't go that route. I'm so happy that the original dream was not meant to be, and that here I am 20 years later, that kid that finally had all of that confidence grew into something tremendously powerful. He was able to network with people without having a business degree. He was able to talk with people that would never bat an eye in his direction because he was just a kid starting up his music career. I don't even have written lyrics produced into a song in any way, but I still have those lyrics for me that I can go back to any time. And if I really wanted to record it one day, I would. I will say that there are so many things that I am grateful for, and High School Musical ignited a lot of that. It created this bond that I never can break away from, of optimism and fun and creativity and not sticking to the status quo. The whole message of the movie is to break out of the boxes that you're always set in. Oh, that's the weird kid. Why does he have to be the weird kid? Why can't he be with the popular crew? Oh, that's the jocks. Why can't they sing? Oh, that's the nerdy people. Why can't they sing? Why can't they play sports? It changed everything. It was progressive, it was progress, and it wasn't shoved down your throat like they've done in the past couple of years. And it was just something so impactful for the whole generation that was watching. But High School Musical, once again, the main focus of this. It's 20 years of all the memories, of all the music, of all the passion that went into it. Kenny Ortega, one of the greatest choreographers in Hollywood, the fantastic cast that is still known to this day as one of the best, choices of casting. I love every single character that I'm literally wearing on my shirt right now. So, I mean, I really do love the franchise, but it's not just the movie. It's the fact that it became something that is so powerful in Disney. They saw a formula that they could actually be successful from if they were to continue it. And so High School Musical 2 came out. High School Musical 3 came out. Like I said, Descendants, Zombies, all of that followed that same formula to make a musical movie, but also have a lot of heart behind it and have a lot of fun behind it. We had Jump In shortly after High School Musical. We had Let It Shine, a rap musical, a rapsicle, if you will, kind of before Hamilton became a thing. That was like the big thing. Was Let It Shine was like the first time hip hop was being shown to kids in a great positive way. It was awesome. And it was like a little bit of 8 Mile at times, even though it didn't really go towards, of course, the crudeness of 8 Mile. It was very similar in the way that they chose to make the story. So Disney had this formula all thanks to High School Musical. Their success, the money that they made from it is insane. It's like the top selling DVD of all time, the Encore edition that came out of the movie, because it was only on TV. For all you kids listening, it was only on TV. You could not buy it in stores. You could not see it in theaters. It was only on TV until they finally released it on DVD, which was still new at the time. And you could get it on VHS, of course. But the DVD like sold out like crazy. Millions and millions and millions of copies. That's just how powerful it was. And I really hope that there will be another movie in Disney's catalog that does that exact same thing without just being Marvel or Star Wars related. I hope that it will be something so original and so fun and so magical, just like High School Musical was. Here we are, 20 years later, an incredible story. We get to see with Glee, unfortunately, I have to mention that, Glee would have never been successful without High School Musical. I know that for a fact, that nobody would have cared about music programs on TV shows especially, unless they're like, Broadway heads, like, original Wicked people would probably have loved Glee. But if High School Musical wasn't there, I don't think it would have made any traction. And High School Musical, the musical, the series, took the formula from Glee, took the formula from High School Musical, combined them both together, put some meta humor in, and was very successful for the next generation of people that wanted to get into it. This will continue to be an extremely successful franchise. This will continue to be a very powerful, unit in Disney's catalog that will never be outdone, it seems, because it's just something that they caught lightning in a bottle. And when they found out that, they could not believe it. And they put everything in. They gave it their all. And they gave us a second movie, and then the third movie, the theatrical release, the first one of the whole franchise to be in theaters, was so awesome. I was in high school when I saw it too, which was really cool. To know that you're in high school watching High School Musical, and nothing of those two things like exists in the same world. High School Musical, high school, so much fun. Real high school, okay. But it was a good time, and wow, it's just amazing. It's been 20 years. I'm 32 now. That means I was 12 when it came out. That is so insane to me to think about that. I want to thank all you guys for being here for this really fun little open conversation that I had in my mind. I've had this in my thoughts since last year. I just knew that the anniversary was coming, and I was like, I think I should just tell somebody what it means to me, the impact that it had on me, even though you guys probably, don't care about everything I'm saying. It's just that, like, this movie, it changed everything. And that's why I will continue having that poster, continue the soundtrack. This is the exact soundtrack that I had 20 years ago. This is the old CD in paper casing, just everything. And that poster was with it. So, happy 20, High School Musical. I hope you guys had a great time with this. Real short, real fun stream. And I hope you have an amazing day. And stay safe out there. Peace!